This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. We're broadcasting from PBS station WEDU in Tampa, Florida. This is Breaking with Convention, War, Peace, and the Presidency. Democracy Now!'s special coverage of the Republican National Convention inside and out. And if you miss any one of our 2 hours, you can go to our website at democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman. One of the people I spoke to on the floor of the convention last night was a man in a top hat, bearing a striking resemblance to the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln. George Engelbach previously served one term in the Missouri House of Representatives alongside Todd Akin, the congressman who's now running against Claire McCaskill for the Senate, who ignited a firestorm by saying it's rare for a woman to become pregnant from rape because, quote, if it's a legitimate rape, the female body has ways to try to shut that whole thing down. Well, George Engelbach last night, he did run unsuccessfully for re-election, now a member of the Missouri Republican delegation at the National Convention here in Tampa. What do you think of your senatorial candidate, Todd Akin, and his comments?
One, I served with him for 2 years in the Missouri House. I've never, ever heard him say anything derogatory or off color. He has apologized. He's asked for forgiveness. And since when can we not forgive? I forgive. If there was no forgiveness, we are all in trouble.
Now, the entire leadership here at the Republican convention, Paul Ryan made a personal call to him, Romney, they've called for him to step down.
I don't know nothing about that.
Well, they've called publicly for him to step down.
I don't pay any attention to what they're doing.
Do you think if he stepped down, someone else would have a better chance of...
He's not going to step down. He's not going to step down.
So talk about his views on abortion. I notice you have a pin there. What does that pin represent?
That's the size of the feet of an 8-week-old fetus.
This is the work of President Romney.
So what was wrong with what he said? Do you feel that Congressman Akin was unfairly targeted?
He said what he said, I feel, in a wrong connotation. It's documented that there is a relatively low conception rate with highly traumatic rapes that are just brutal. So,
is there another kind of rape?
Certainly.
What's the other kind of rape?
Well, if you'd, for example, rape some girl or lady that was sort of inebriated, maybe a little bit high on drugs or something like that. That's going on all the time. Slip a Mickeys, we call it. When I grew up, we called them slip somebody a Mickey, and you know, it's not consensual, and it still happens, and that's the rape that is really hard to prove many times.
But is it still rape?
Yes.
So why not say it's as brutal as any other kind?
He had a statement that he made, and I'm not defending that. I'm saying I forgive him. And if I'm not here to really talk about his rape, I'm here to make it enjoyable for everyone at the convention and to get some enjoyment myself and sometimes hear what somebody else has to say.
If Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney become president and vice president, do you have hope that abortion will be abolished in America?
Well, I think abortion is going away just because of education and because of people are realizing what it does to the society to have abortion in place. I don't know that it'll totally go away, not in my lifetime.
Mitt Romney was pro-choice before he was anti-choice. He supported abortion before he now speaks out against it. Does that disturb you?
No. People change their views. You ask me about the party versus what Lincoln's party was. He just has chosen to take on a different view. I used to be a supporter of the Democrat Party until Mr. Gephardt decided that he wanted to be pro-choice, and I can't believe in killing life.
has told people out
You don't know how many hours I've set up to try to keep an animal alive that newly born in the cold of the winter.
That was George Engelbach. He previously served one term in the Missouri House of Representatives alongside Todd Akin. He's now a member of the Missouri Republican delegation and looks and dresses remarkably like the first Republican president, Abe Lincoln. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. Meanwhile, during an address by former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, just a few feet from billionaire Tea Party funder David Koch, who is a New York delegate, I caught up with another New Yorker, longtime Long Island Congress member Peter King.
Well, I strongly oppose what Todd Akin said, but I am pro-life, and Paul Ryan and I have virtually the same position on abortion. I am pro-life.
That there should not be abortion in any case, that there should be no abortion with no exceptions.
No, and that's what Paul Ryan said. It's basically, I certainly would allow abortion in the case of the life of the mother or severe health risk to the mother, and that's the same position that Ronald Reagan had.
What about in the case of rape or incest?
No, I would not, because of the fact that you'd be taking another innocent life. It's the toughest of all the calls, I realize that. And Todd Akin was totally wrong in his description of it. But to me, if you believe it's a human life, it's a human life.
So, although the Republican Party's platform is for smaller government, when it comes to women, it's for greater government and greater government intervention.
The main purpose of government is to protect innocent life, no matter where that life is.
And if it's in the body of a woman, she should not make a decision about it.
That is my position, and people can vote for me or against me based on that.
So should a woman who wants to have abortion be criminalized? Should she be charged with murder?
The doctor, not the woman.
The doctor?
Absolutely, yeah.
So the doctor should be thrown in jail?
Again, each state can decide how they want to, what sanctions there would be. But obviously, if you have a law and somebody violates it, there have to be penalties, whether it's civil or whatever.
Do you think Paul Ryan's position, which you share, will help you realize that goal eventually in America?
Well, obviously, you elect someone who you want to pursue your goal, but certainly not going to happen in the next 4 years, that's for sure.
What about Mitt Romney?
Mitt Romney is also pro-life, and he's made exceptions, and that's going to be the guiding policy for the Republican Party, Governor Romney's position, not mine or Paul Ryan's.
New York Congress member Peter King. Meanwhile, as Hurricane Isaac turned to Tropical Storm Isaac, lashing the Gulf Coast with heavy rain and flooding parts of Louisiana. Members of the Louisiana delegation anxiously awaited word whether their families back home were riding out the storm. I spoke to Jonathan Johnson, an at-large Republican delegate from the city of Slidell, just outside New Orleans.
Well, right now we have a lot of rising water coming in, so that's the biggest problem. So we need the rain and the wind to stop.
Has your house been affected?
I just got off the phone with my wife. We got about 3 more feet till it gets in there. So I live in an older house. It's about 5 or 6 feet off the ground. And so there's water in the little canals and bayous that we live around, and it's rising right now. So
has the rebuilding of the levees helped?
Well, we don't really live in an area with levees like New Orleans. We're on the north shore of the lake, right around New Orleans. So we really have more smaller bodies of water, bayous and canals that swell as that water comes in from a storm surge. That's what we really deal with more. So we don't have levees.
Their big concern in New Orleans was the levees and whether the new levees would hold. What's your assessment of what happened?
Oh, it's a brand new New Orleans. It's the levee system is great. I've had the chance to drive around for the last couple of years and see the work that's been done. It's just a lot of work. The Corps has done a fantastic job. So I don't think New Orleans has a whole lot to worry about like we did in the past.
Would you say it's fair to say the government saved New Orleans?
That's a nice try. I'd say the people of New Orleans saved New Orleans. Yeah.
Who paid for the rebuilding of the levee?
That's a good question. I don't know who paid for it.
The Army Corps of Engineers did it, right?
I think the people of New Orleans paid for it.
Well, everyone, right?
Yeah.
And also, you just said the Army Corps of Engineers did a fantastic job.
That's correct, they did.
The government.
The people of New Orleans, along with the Corps of Engineers, did a great job. Yeah. That's a good try. I like that. I appreciate that.
But, yeah. I mean, it sounds like you are congratulating the government in this case. That's what the Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah, government's not a bad thing. They did a good job, sure. Yeah.
So would you say that kind of government and people partnership is important, and it's the role of government is to do that kind of work in these very crisis situations?
Yeah, government in their proper role. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So yesterday the theme was "We built it," and what is the explanation of that slogan, "We built it"?
Oh well, if you're gonna stray real far from my personal situation, I'm not gonna dive real deep into that. But yeah, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Individual Americans build their own businesses. I think that's what that slogan really focuses on.
Well, back to the case of Louisiana and New Orleans. People built their small businesses, and with the help of government protecting them now, for example, with the rebuilding of the levees that you said was very, very important, together, that is what makes America.
Yeah, government has a limited role in our lives, yes. We have to have government. It has a very limited role. And we, of course, we respect that and appreciate that within the boundaries of what they're supposed to do.
Jonathan Johnson, an at-large Republican delegate from the city of Slidell, just outside of New Orleans. And that does it for our broadcast. If you'd like to get a copy of our show, you can go to our website at democracynow.org. Democracy Now! Is produced by